Hi there, my name is Amy Davis. I'm the clinical director with Tucson Counseling Associates, and I'm here to give you an Insurance World 101 breakdown so that we can improve your understanding of insurance billing and make it easier for us to work together as a team with billing your insurance. So, just going through a couple of vocab words to begin with. So, there's something called a deductible, which is the amount of money that is paid out of your own pocket before insurance coverage kicks in. And that can be varying depending on the plan. Next, you have a copay, and the copay is a portion of the cost of services. And so you might have a $20 copay. And so us at TCA will just charge you $20, and then we will submit a claim for the remainder of the fee for the service. It can also be written as a PCP copay on your card when you look at your insurance card. There's the specialist copay. So some insurance companies categorize mental health counseling as a specialist visit, like if you were going to be going to a dermatologist or an endocrinologist or some other specialty. Sometimes insurance companies categorize mental health coverage under specialist, and that's usually a higher copay. A claim is what we, in our billing department, we submit to an insurance company. So it's the document that communicates with insurance companies what the service was that was who provided the service, who received services, and where it took place, and then the cost of the service. So we fill out this whole claim and then submit that to the insurance after the session that you have. There is something called a rate of reimbursement, and that is the number that the insurance company will pay or reimburse companies. So, like I said just a second ago, we submit a claim to the insurance company and we put the fee for that service. Well, the insurance company decides what they believe service costs, and then they will reimburse us for that service based on what they've determined that that service should cost. And each insurance company has a different determination of what that cost is, just to make things really complicated. So it varies by expertise, it varies by diagnosis and specialty and all these different things. Yeah, so that's the rate of reimbursement. And then we have our co-insurance vocab word. And so it's like a cost sharing with the insurance plans. And that usually comes into effect after you pay a deductible. And then sometimes plans have a co-insurance where they will pay 80% of the service fee and you will pay, as the plan holder, 20%. So for example, our rate of reimbursement, the amount that Blue Cross Blue Shield has determined is the cost for an individual psychotherapy session. They reimburse us $95.88. And the portion that you would have to pay if you had a co-insurance of 20% would be $19.17. So sometimes it's helpful to know, why am I getting charged these random numbers? That's why. And even more vocabulary to help you navigate. So an in-network provider is a provider who has been credentialed or contracted by the insurance company and can accept payments from the insurance company for services. So all of therapists and doctors and all of them, had to go through this credentialing process with each insurance company in order to be able to have a contract with them to provide services for those plan holders that they serve. An out-of-network provider is a provider who is not contracted by the insurance company. So if a client is being seen by an out-of-network provider, usually you have to pay 100% of the cost, but some plans will have out-of-network benefits. Usually it has a deductible associated with it, so you have to pay a certain number. For the insurance will then do a co-insurance usually with you to cover the remaining cost. And in that case, providers can provide a super bill to you that you then submit to your insurance company to try to keep track of the money that you're spending with an out-of-network provider, and then eventually get reimbursed by the insurance company. So if that applies to you, then you can definitely ask your therapist to give you a super bill. And the super bill, you should know that on a super bill is the service provided and the diagnosis. And so those have to be submitted to the insurance company in order to get reimbursement. We also here at TCA and many outpatient mental health clinics have something called incident to billing. And what that means is that an insurance company typically will only allow independently licensed, so somebody who has a licensed clinical social worker, or a licensed professional counselor, marriage and family therapist, psychologist, to become credentialed, to have a contract, to be an in-network provider with that insurance company. But some insurance companies will allow for the clinicians that are an associate level. So they've graduated, they have their master's degree, and they're working on their hours toward licensure. In that time frame, they're supervised by a licensed clinician. And so for some insurance companies, we can bill this incident to billing under the licensed clinician that is supervising that associate clinician. So if that's the case, if you're working with somebody who is an LAC or an LMSW, those are the associate levels. So if you're being seen by one of those people and you are calling your insurance company to find out if we, TCA, are in-network providers, you would definitely need to know who that person is being supervised by, because that's the name that you give to your insurance company regarding who is in network. So for us, all of our associate licensed clinicians are being billed under Kate Kincaid. So you would give your insurance company Kate Kincaid's name to find out if she is in network with your insurance. Paying the rate of reimbursement is a sentence that is often communicated to you by billing departments, insurance companies, and maybe even your service provider. That means that if you have not met your deductible for the year yet, you need to pay the rate of reimbursement for the service. So, like I said before, Blue Cross Blue Shield has a rate of reimbursement of $95.88 for a 50-minute regular psychotherapy appointment. So that's the amount that you pay until you reach your deductible. Each insurance plan has a different rate of reimbursement. So this is definitely something to verify before services are provided, so that you can decide, is it worth using my insurance, because will I ever reach that deductible or will I not? We at TCA offer a courtesy estimate, and so we will contact your insurance company and find out if we're in network with your particular plan, and we'll find out what your coverage is, like what your copay is, what your deductible is, if you have co-insurance, all of those things, and then we will communicate that to you. One thing to know is that this is just an estimate, and actually this insurance companies often give more clear, direct, specific information directly to the plan holder versus to the provider calling on behalf of the plan holder. And so it's really in your best interest to call your insurance company yourself, so that you understand exactly what your plan covers and how they are processing those claims. So for instance, if those claims are being processed as a regular PCP copay, or if they're being processed as a specialist copay, because then that's going to change the amount. And this is why we talk about problems with claims. So sometimes claims can be rejected by insurance companies. Usually it's due to improper coding on the billing department's side. It's rare, but it does happen. When it happens, our billing department will investigate the mistake and then resubmit the claims as soon as possible. And you may never even know that there was a problem with the claim, because it was a mistake on our end, we fixed it, and then we got reimbursed and all is well again. And then if there is a problem and suddenly there's a high balance on your account and your therapist is saying there's a high balance on your account, or then it's usually due to something happening on the insurance company's end. We aren't changing anything in terms of how we're submitting claims. It's usually that the insurance company has changed the way that they're covering your service, or that your insurance has termed, meaning that you've reached the end of your plan period and maybe didn't give us a new insurance card, or something changed with your plan, and so now they're billing it differently. And so if there is a problem, it's best for you as a consumer to call them to find out what's happening, and then also we at TCA or our billing department will do the same. It's important to note that insurance companies take sometimes 4 to 8 weeks to process and pay claims. So if there's an issue with the way that they're billing or processing claims, or there's a denial of a claim, sometimes we don't even know until you've already had 4 or 5 sessions. And that's why there can be those high balances that suddenly appear. And this can be really frustrating for both the provider and for the client. And so it's best in those circumstances to really work together to come up with a solution and figure out what's happening on the insurance end of things. So again, we really, really highly encourage that all of our clients and you just as a consumer of insurance really understand your explanation of benefits or an EOB so that you can really understand how the insurance company is actually covering you on all of the ways that you're receiving healthcare. And also that they are processing on the previously agreed rates. So for instance, maybe you are being charged a $45 copay when on your card it says $40. Why is there a difference there? It's usually because the insurance company has it different, and so you should call them to find out. So I'm hopeful that very quick, brief explanation of some of the vocabulary for insurance billing is helpful for you to be an informed consumer, and that we can really work as a team to make sure that you're getting your mental health needs met and not having to stress too much about insurance companies. If you do have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to our billing department, where you can email box or talk to your therapist, and your therapist will connect you with the billing department as well. All right, thank you.